Welcome to the Vertical Stride, the podcast where we break down the best practices of the first year runner all the way to the professional athlete. I'm your host, Jack Wren, and I believe that while paces, goals, and races differ, the principles that govern quality training are the same for everybody. My goal is simple. I want you to be able to stay in this sport for 10, 20, 30 years rather than just 3 months. Today, we are looping back to the ideas in our episode last week of consistency, sleep, and strides. We're going to kind of show you how to build out your week. Okay, so a template for what your weekly schedule should look like. So we're going to call it How to Put Together Your Week. I'm really excited that we have our guest, Anila Tynan, who's going to join us. She has experienced the first couple steps of building up that weekly consistency, building up that weekly schedule. So I'm really excited for her personal experience, her opinions, what she felt on her journey. And this is all coming on the heels of her completing her first serious training cycle for a 10K. And so I think it'll be a really good voice for, all right, how do we start to build this consistency? And what are some of the challenges of moving forward and taking even that next step? So welcome, Anila. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Tell us a little bit about your running right now as it's going, all the good, all the bad, everything in between.
Yeah. So as you said, I trained for a 10K and ran a 10K back in February.
I think so.
Was it
Yeah.
February? Yeah, and it was like my first time doing consistent running. So
Mhm.
it was kind of an adjustment and had to learn kind of what that looks like instead of just get up and run for like 20, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
super unstructured, not very carefully thought out, and then pivoting into like, okay, an actual training plan that worked for me, that worked for my schedule,
Mhm.
uh, and ultimately resulted in a really good race outcome. I was very proud of myself.
Yeah, no, you had an awesome race. It was super exciting.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm really happy that you're able to come on and kind of share your experience of starting that, really adding on that consistency. And then actually, you were the one that mentioned a lot of the questions that we're going to look at from last week's episode.
Oh, perfect.
And so we're going to touch on those questions. We're going to answer those super quick. And then we're going to get into how we want to put our training week together so that we can implement that consistency, implement those strides, and then make sure we're getting our sleep and our recovery.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this is for the layperson like me who's not like a super serious, super fast runner. I'm really just doing it casually and for
Hmm.
like the enjoyment of it and for the movement.
Yeah.
So I think this will be helpful for like on my side, people who are just trying to get into running or trying to run casually, do your like first 5K or 10K. But then the whole point of your position here is
Hmm.
to dial that up to more serious runners.
Yeah. And so, I think this first question here was actually your question, right? And
Yes.
so all of these questions came from people. And what I would want to say is while I appreciate and really enjoy that all the people that reached out to me personally, throw it in the comments, right? And that way we can see it. That way we can look at it. That way other people can respond if they want to respond. So I have loved and appreciated all the feedback. Do me a favor, throw it in the comments so that we can see it and maybe get a little bit of discussion going. But that first question that we have is for the new runner, can you elaborate a little bit more on how to implement strides? Can you give a specific recommendation if I was to do this for the first time? And so I'm going to let someone that went through this a little more recently doing it for the first time take the first answer and then I'll add on after.
Yeah. Yeah, recently I was trying to describe strides to someone and I was like, "Well, you run at like kind of what feels fast and fun for like, I don't know, 15 seconds, and then you kind of take a break and either jog or walk for like 20 seconds, and then you just do that over and over again." But I think when you don't know what that actually looks like, when you kind of feel silly doing
Yeah.
it. And so what that looked like for me is like picking parking sign posts on the
Mhm.
street in
Yep.
front of the house, and I knew, like, running at my 80% effort that was fun and fast was, like, about 15 seconds from post to post, and so it looked like kinda walking up to first post, running my stride from post to post,
Yeah.
walking kind of to the end of the street and around, maybe that was about 15 to 20 seconds, and then running back. And so it looks like running back and forth, pounding pavement on the street
Yeah.
for, 4 to 6 to 8 times, like going back and forth.
Yeah, getting that 15 seconds. We can actually take even a little bit longer. I think you'd surprise yourself on how long
Gotcha.
your recovery probably was. That
Gotcha.
30 to 45 seconds, like we talked about
Okay.
last week. But I really like what you pointed out of, hey, I picked 2 markers. I have these markers. I have set distance. So sounds like you would finish your run,
Yeah.
take a couple minutes, and then you would do your strides where you specified point A, point B, and you're going to run back and forth and wait 30 to 45 seconds in between.
Yeah.
And so while we talked about you can add them in during the run, you can add them in after the run last week. Starting out, I think the easiest way to do it is at the end of your run.
Totally.
So you can kind of take the time that you need. And I really like the way that you describe it of, hey, fun and fast, right? Especially if you're just starting, don't get too worried about, is this at the right pace? Am I running fast enough? Am I running too fast?
Yeah.
Just enjoy it.
Like it's not that deep.
Yeah, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 2 is, can I run strides the day before a workout? Okay. So I believe this question is, I do a run on a Wednesday and then I have a harder session on Thursday. Can I do my strides Wednesday after my run? And I would say absolutely. Kind of the main place that strides get added in for kind of those competitive runners in the high school or the college scene, or the first place that we really encounter them, is the day before a race. And so if they're good the day before a race, they're going to be fine the day before a workout.
My understanding too is you call it free dirty speed. So it's not like it, or cheap dirty speed, whatever you call it. So
Hmm.
it's not like it's supposed to tire you out or like add to the burden of your
Yeah.
run or
Hmm.
training. It's supposed to just kind of be a little bonus extra stuff.
Yeah, little bonus extra speed. It actually kind of helps prep and prime your body for that harder effort, like we talked about last week. And so throw them in. Now, I wouldn't overdo it. I would go on the shorter side, right? So if you have a big workout, I would only maybe do like 6 strides, right? So if I was working out on a Thursday, I do my Wednesday easy run, do 6 strides at the end. You don't need to push it to 8 or 10 and do that many more. But go for it the day before a workout. How do I know when I'm ready to add an additional day to my training week? All right. And I'm actually going to put a little bit of pin in this one because this is kind of what we're going to talk about today. But it's a great question. It's actually going to be kind of a big focus of what we're looking at. Okay.
I thought you were going to put it on me and I was like, I don't know.
No, I wasn't going to put you on the spot like that. And then the last one is, how much does missing a run hurt my progress? How do I know if it's okay to skip a run?
That question came from me.
Yes. So do you want to take a crack at it first, or do you want me to start?
Well, as someone who missed a run here and there, like I think there are times when it can be okay, but you don't want to be
Yeah.
cheating yourself
Right.
by coming up with reasons and excuses to miss a run.
Yeah.
But I'll let you answer the second part, which is how do I know it's okay if I skip
Yeah.
a run?
Yeah. So missing one run, it's not going to hurt anything. Okay. You're not going to all of a sudden not be able to run. You're not going to lose all your fitness and all your progress if you miss one run. Like, think about how absurd that would seem. Right. But what I will say is, we talked about the importance of consistency last week, right? The consistency of adding day after day after day after day after day, and where that can take you. Well, that's also going to work in reverse. And so week after week after week, you're skipping that Tuesday run or that Wednesday run. Well, that's going to add up over time. And then you're going to start to see, all right, hey, I'm going to have a decline in fitness. I'm going to have a decline in performance.
Yeah.
In terms of how do you know if it's okay to skip a run? Sometimes your body just tells you, right? Your body's like, hey, this just is not happening today. And the one thing that I would say about that is, a lot of times before your run, you're going to feel that. I feel that a lot. Recently, I've been having a hard time kind of getting started. My legs are a little tired, they're a little sore. Go out. If you have a run scheduled, run for 5 minutes, make yourself run for 5 minutes before making that decision. More often than not, you're going to feel pretty good or okay after 5 minutes and be like, yeah, okay, I can do this. I can go get my run done. Okay. So if you're ever wondering, run for 5 minutes, your body will tell you after 5 minutes whether you should do it or whether you should pack it up and go back home.
Sometimes I wonder, like, am I making excuses or like, do I really like not need to run today?
Yeah.
And I feel like 5 minutes in, I'm just like, wow, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Then I know, okay, I'm not making excuses. Like, it is truly so bad
Yeah.
that maybe I don't run that day. But maybe I do
Yeah.
something else,
Hmm.
like cross training or something there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. And 5 minutes is kind of that perfect number for your body to be like, okay, we're in this now. This really isn't so bad. Or, yeah, this is as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, kind of the 5 minute rule, right?
Yeah.
Go out, run for 5 minutes, give it an honest 5 minutes, and then reevaluate and check with yourself. But you're not going to hurt and ruin your progress if you miss one day here and there. Okay, so we punted, or not punted, but we put a pin on that one question of how do I know when it's time to add in an extra training day? And so the theme of today is how to put the week together. I want to show you how to look at your week, look at the runs that you have, decide where to put them, when to do them. And I think in talking about that, we're also going to be able to talk about, hey, how do I know when I'm ready for an extra day? And so I'm really excited about this. I'm also going to put this episode on YouTube so that you can see the visual if you are like in the car listening or not in a spot where you're able to see the screen. But I have a spreadsheet here. I have a day of the week, and then we're going to talk about, all right, depending on how many days we're running, where do I put my runs? How do I know where to put them? And then what should I be thinking about on those given days?
I actually have a question now that we've gotten started is,
Yeah.
do you need to be at a certain point already, even just to start at 3 to 4 days a week?
At 3 to 4, yes, I would say 3 days a week, just about anybody could handle.
I think about like the Couch to 5K programs. We're talking about
Yeah.
like people who can maybe slow jog for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And so here's what I'd say. In that situation, I still think getting out the 3 days is necessary,
Okay.
but part of it is going to include some walking, right? So run walk. And one of the things that I'm really excited about, one of the future episodes is going to be types of workouts.
Okay.
And I'm really excited to point out to people and show people how the Couch to 5K program, right? The run walk program is actually a version of a very common type of workout. And so even if it means that, some of our day is run walk, I still think it's important to get out there. I like to say time on feet. We have those adaptations. And so, even if one day is just entirely a walk, I still think that day is going to be helpful for you. And so that's one of those things that I would recommend if you're not sure, get in touch with a coach, right? A coach can kind of, get your background info, see where you are specifically, and then really kind of curate a plan specifically for you. So the first thing that we need to do is I like to identify what the most important run is. Okay. And so for most people, the most important run is going to be our quote long run. Okay. Now, don't get scared by that word long. Okay. It just means your longest run of the week, right? One of the runs has to be the longest. And this is going to be the one that is just, it's more than all the others.
When I was first getting started, my long run was 30 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
So it's really like not anything crazy.
Yeah. And sometimes, like, hey, maybe your long run when you start is 20 minutes, right? And then you build up to a point where, sometimes, hey, my long run is now 60 minutes or 90 minutes, or, I'm going out and I have to do a 12-mile run. Or, hey, maybe my long run is a 3-mile run because I'm building things up. And the theme that we're going to see here when we're building out our schedule is setting yourself up for success. Okay. And how can you position yourself so that time after time you're going to be able to show up and you're going to be able to get it done? Now, most of us, if we need our largest chunk of time, that's going to happen on the weekend. And so I like to put long run on Saturday. All right. I like to put long run on Saturday. Okay. And I'm going to put that in green. Okay. Long run is good. It's helpful. All right. We're going to schedule it on Saturday when we have a lot of time, and then we can go enjoy ourselves afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feel really good. You got a long run in and now go have the rest of your day.
Exactly. All right. And now this is the most important run. This is the biggest run. The next thing that I want to make sure you get on the schedule is you need time to recover from that. And so Sunday, we're going to be off. All right. And I'm going to put that in red, and I'm going to say, hey, red, we're not running. Okay. It is a day off. It is time for us to recover, repair, get our sleep in, make sure that our muscles are repairing themselves. And so this is kind of the perfect weekend combo of, hey, I have the extra time, right? So I can get that long run in. And then, hey, I kind of want to relax because it's the weekend and I had a long week. And so you get both and you're doing it with good training sense.
Does this mean like no other cross training on Sunday too? Like, can you do weights or Pilates or
Yeah,
go on a ride?
I would say for the most part, totally up to you. If you're in a spot where you're like very specifically intentionally training for something with very big, very intense and ambitious goals, you might have a little bit more structure on what your off day looks like. But if we're just here trying to put together kind of our run template, if you want to go play pickleball or you want to do like a 20-minute Pilates or you want to do
Go for a swim?
go for a swim, that would be fine here. When I say off, I'm mostly talking about off from running. Okay. And that's what I mean here when I say off. All right. So we're going to start with the 3 days a week, right? So let's do this. Let's put 3 days here. All right. And then we'll come down here. And down here, we'll do 4 days. Okay. And same thing. So even on the 4 day week, okay, we're still going to put our long run on Saturday for all those same reasons. The next thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we're spacing things out so that we have time to recover in between those runs. Okay. Now, again, this is where you should ask yourself, what days am I really going to be able to do this? At 3 to 4 days a week, we're going to have time. We're going to have options
Yeah.
to space things out. And so we should be fine. All right. To kind of put these wherever. And so I'm going to kind of use you as our guest,
Yep.
right? We'll kind of create this around your schedule. All right.
Perfect.
What days are like no-go days for running? You just don't have time for it.
Well, it depends, I guess.
Okay.
Am I running in the morning or am I running in the evening?
Yeah.
Like being in Arizona, that kind of sometimes depends on the time of year.
Okay.
Like in the summer, you have to run in the morning. It's
Okay.
like not an option.
Okay.
So I guess we'll go with summer,
Yeah.
have to run in the morning, which kind of makes Tuesdays a no-go
Yeah.
because Tuesday's my early day at work.
Okay. So Tuesday off. All right. Now, if Tuesday's off, okay, probably makes sense to run on Monday. Hey, going Monday on, Tuesday off, after Sunday off. That
That
makes
works out.
sense, right? And so I'm gonna call this easy slash recovery. Okay. And we're gonna get more into what easy and recovery mean. This would just be something like, hey, I'm gonna go out for 25 minutes.
Okay.
Right. And this would be a good place for strides. All right. This would be a good place for strides. We had a day off. We're getting our Monday run in. We can add some strides in. We know we have the next day off. And so we should be good. So now we're looking at this is our 3 times a week. All right. I think at this point, we're going to block Friday off.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. We're going to block Friday off mostly because if we're only running 3 days a week, we probably want to avoid back to back days. Now, we kind of get to pick, right? At this point on 3 to 4 days a week, we get to choose what is going to be best for us. So, would it be better for you to run Wednesday or Thursday?
I think it's a wash, but let's just say Wednesday.
Wednesday. All right. I think there is no real difference here, especially when we are just starting up. If it is an easy slash recovery day, I absolutely love having some strides in there. Again, I really like what you said. Make it feel fun, make it feel fast. So we could do a couple different versions of what that 3 days a week could look like.
Sure.
Okay. And this is where you started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you like? What did you not like about kind of the 3 day a week schedule?
I mean, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty easy to follow if like let's say bad things happen on Wednesday and you're like, wow, it is not happening today, either because you start running for 5 minutes and you're like, absolutely not,
Yeah.
or you overslept your alarm and you don't get to run, you have Thursday
Mm-hmm.
as a fallback to still get it done.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like when you're first starting and your body really feels it and you're sore and things hurt, it's nice to
Mm-hmm.
have multiple days off
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
kind of give yourself a chance
Yeah.
to actually keep running and not go, this sucks, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Right. So you liked having the flexibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super nice.
And then, so you were getting ready for a 10K. So 10K or 6.2 miles.
Yeah.
You eventually built to a 4 and sometimes 5 day training week.
Yeah.
How long were you at a 3 days a week training plan?
For a while, like multiple months at least. Like the 3-day training plan had to feel like really boring
Mm-hmm.
before another day was added.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So in that time period where you were running 3 days a week before you added in that 4th day,
Yeah.
what was kind of the progression like? If we were gonna imagine, all right, what would it look like to kinda stack a whole bunch of these weeks together? Like, where would we be seeing and implementing progress?
Well, I started at, like, kind of 20-minute runs. That was where I started. I probably didn't have much more in me than that.
Yeah.
So, like, my Monday, Wednesday recovery and strides would be, like, 20-minute runs with
Mhm.
strides, and then my long run, I think, started at 25 minutes, and then after doing that for a while, sometimes my basic runs are 25 minutes and my long run was 30 minutes. I think we did that one for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you're looking at this easy and recovery here, okay? Because really what I wanna, like, also remind us is that for easy and recovery, it's just about getting the run done.
It's like what's easy for you.
Yeah.
So, like, a 20-minute run at whatever pace is easy for me, that would be, like, nothing for you. So if you're, like, really truly couch to 5K, your easy run might be, I don't know,
Mhm. Yeah.
like a 10 to 20-minute run walk,
Mhm. Yeah, right.
or maybe it's a 30-minute run, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, and so this can be different every day, right? Your pace for this can be different every day. It is, I think what you said, feels good for you, feels good on that day. And I think these are ones that are good to do for time, right? And so you mentioned, hey, this
Yeah,
might be a
definitely.
20-minute run. It might be a 25-minute run. Or as you get further into this, right? I think your plan had you build up to, hey, some of these easy slash recovery days were like 30 minutes,
Yeah.
right? Or 35 minutes,
Yeah.
right? Does that sound
Yeah.
like what your experience was?
Yeah.
Okay. And so then the next step was adding in that 4th day, right? So adding in that 4th day. All right. We're going to kind of keep the same schedule of the template.
Sure.
Okay. So is Monday, if we were going to do 4 days a week, still like that's going to be a good day for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And we definitely want our off day on Sunday. Okay. And so now we need to figure out where that 4th day is going to go.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's gonna be back to back somewhere.
We're going to have a back to back somewhere and it's unavoidable. Even if you do it for 1 week with 4 days, if you do 2 weeks in a row, you have to get that back to back. Okay. Which, on an important note, a good transition that you can do is you can go back and forth a couple times between 3 and 4 day weeks
Mm,
so that you maintain always having a day off in between,
gotcha.
right? So if I did 4 days, then I'm going to do 3 days the next week, then 4 days, right? And kind of smoothly transition. So you said Tuesday is just like a no go for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I think it becomes obvious for the schedule, like Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah. Wednesday, Thursday. I agree. Okay. Now, here is the deal. I don't want these runs to be exactly the same. Okay. And so here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that this second run should be slower or less than the Wednesday run. Okay. So for example, let's say, hey, we're at the point where we're doing 4 days a week. Okay. So that Wednesday run, that might be, for example, a 30-minute run plus strides. Right. That would be a great spot for this to be a 20-minute run. Okay. And we can even skip the strides. We have strides 2 other days,
Okay.
right? So we're still getting that. But following that up with a shorter, less intense run where we're maybe more forgiving on pace, right? We can do what feels good on that day. Our legs might be tired. Just go out, just get the time on your feet. All right. And that's really what it's about. You're going to have that off day on Friday. Okay. You're going to have that off day on Friday to recover and get ready for that long run. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the hardest part for you when you started adding in the 4th day?
You lose your, like, backup day. So if
Okay.
bad things happen on Wednesday,
Mhm.
you kinda lose your chance to make it up.
Yeah.
So you just don't have as much flexibility when it's up to 4 days. You have to kinda get them done.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. By the time I was adding on a 4th day, it felt very natural. It wasn't a huge push to add on a 4th day.
Okay. right? So building up gradually to that fourth day made it a lot more manageable.
Yeah.
Okay, looking at kind of these templates, what was the easiest run to try and skip, right? Or try and like talk your way out of or convince yourself, hey, I don't need to do this.
I think it certainly depended on the day.
Yeah.
Like, I think the first day of the week is probably the most important run to do just for, like, a little bit of momentum going
Okay.
into your week, but also can be easy to be like, "Oh, I'll just, pick up on Wednesday." But I feel like if you don't do your run on Monday, it just
Hmm.
becomes so easy to let the rest of the week go.
Okay. So you really like that idea of momentum or inertia. I think
Yeah,
I've heard you call it before, right? That idea of like, hey, maintain my progress. If I get it started, it'll keep going.
yeah.
But if I let myself rest, I'm gonna let myself
Yeah.
rest.
Well, like in the running 3 to 4 days a week, this is like your beginner runner. Like you're just trying to get into a routine and a schedule of running. And so you start off like all excited
Yeah.
and you're propelled a little bit by the inspiration of like, okay, I'm gonna run.
Yeah.
And then you start running and you're like, okay, sometimes it sucks. Actually, a lot of times it
Yeah.
sucks. And so it becomes really more of like a discipline game
Hmm.
of like, okay, if I do my Monday run, I'm off Tuesday, and I do my Wednesday
Yeah.
run, and you just have to take it run by run and just get it done.
That's definitely true. I like your idea of, hey, you get that first run in the weekend,
Yeah.
so you feel like you have that positive progress and you're accomplishing something. I would also really like to highlight this second run here, the second day of the back to back. This is the one that you're adding in. This is that next step of consistency. This is the one that we have to be intentional about.
That's true.
This is the one that 5 minute rule that we talked about is going to be really important.
Yeah.
We're used to, hey, we run and we get a day, sometimes 2 days off. Now we're running and we're coming back the very next day with tired legs. We're going to be a little sore. We might be a little out of it. Okay. Got to get yourself out the door, give yourself the 5 minutes, and
Mhm.
you're probably going to feel okay. And you know what? This is a great day to ignore the watch.
Oh, yeah.
Ignore the watch. I don't care what my pace is on my recovery day because the point of that day isn't to run fast, right? The point of that day is to be out there on my feet, building that mitochondrial content that we talked about
Mhm,
last
mhm.
week, right? Building those capillaries, improving our blood flow, improving our VO2 max, right? Time on feet,
Yeah.
pace doesn't matter. Okay. This is adding on that consistency. Okay. So get out there, 5 minute rule, make yourself run for 5 minutes, then make the decision. All right. Talked about the 4 days a week. You even made it up to doing some 5 days a week training.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do because I want to compare them, right? I'm going to take this 4 days a week template that we have here. All right. And I am going to copy it over to this other tab, right? So those of you watching on YouTube, right, you can see this happening in real time. Okay. If you are interested in what this looks like, I encourage you to hop over to YouTube, see what this looks like. You can take screenshots of this. Um, and kind of get an idea of, hey, here's a rough sketch of what I would want my schedule to look like. Now we're adding in that fifth day. Okay. So even if we wanted to on a 4 day week, we could make it every other day. Right. And then that second week, we would get the back to back.
Yeah.
But at 5 days, back to back, unavoidable.
How do you know when you're ready to go from 4 to 5 days?
Yeah. That honestly, it's a really tough question. I would say that Thursday run is going to be really the indicator.
Got it.
How do you feel coming back the next day running 2 days in a row? If you feel good running 2 days in a row, if you're like, hey, I start to enjoy this, I actually find that I'm getting a little bit of a groove and it's fun. I don't feel like there's a drastic difference between my Wednesday and Thursday run if they're staying easy,
Yeah.
then I would say that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Right? That's a good sign that your body is adapting well and your body's like, yeah, let's do it.
I genuinely felt like by the time I was running like 5 days a week leading up to my race,
Hmm.
that like next day easy run felt so nice.
Yeah.
It felt really nice.
Yeah. Well, it helps your body recover,
Yeah.
right? It helps kind of flush out any lingering soreness and things like that. And so when you reach a point where that second day of the back to back starts to feel pretty good, I would say that's a good sign you're ready for 5 days a week. I would also say make sure you get probably at least a month of 4 days a week before you add in that 5th day, right? Give your body time to adapt. Give the bone structures, the skeletal system, the central nervous system, the muscular structures time to adjust and become used to the 4 days a week before you move on to that 5th day a week. All right. And so that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that.
You just don't want to go too hard too fast because running is hard enough. Like you'll say
Yeah.
that running is hard and a lot of times it sucks. And so if you go too hard too fast in the effort to be this great, amazing runner, you're going to burn out
Yeah.
for sure.
So we're going to look at adding in that 5th day. Now, kind of wiping the template clean here. We have less options now. All right. So we have to run 5 of these days. To me, I find this Saturday long run, Sunday off, or if you want to flip it, do Saturday off, Sunday long run. I find that pretty non negotiable. Unless you're getting to the point where you're running 7 days a week, some weeks, I would say trying to take your off day on the weekend, I think is good. I think you're going to get your best recovery there. I think you're going to recover more from an off day on a weekend than you are an off day in the middle of the week. Because an off day in the middle of the week, you also have the stress of life and work and just your normal schedule, and you have more opportunity to sleep on the weekend. And so I really like having that off day on the weekend. I think that's really
That
good.
makes sense.
And I think at 5 days, when we're going to have 2 off days, you have to make one of them on the weekend. Okay. Now, we need to start adding things in. So we're going to do this a little bit in reverse. So, what is a day that you know you absolutely can go run?
Can go run.
Can go run.
Monday.
Monday. All right. So, we are going to get our easy recovery and strides on Monday. All right. And I'm going to change this. I'm going to take out the recovery term.
Ooh.
All right. Because we're going to get a little more specific now on 5 days a week as to what a recovery run means.
Got it.
Okay. Now, at the time when you were running 5 days a week, was it all easy runs and long run?
No, we were starting workouts.
We were starting workouts. Okay. So, again, later in another episode, we're going to have a different types of workouts. I'm really excited about that. We hinted at it earlier how Couch to 5K is taking good running principle workouts and adjusting them. And it's really the same structure. And so I'm really excited for that episode. But workouts, okay? Right now, here's what we need to know about workouts. They're harder. They are more intense. They put a lot more stress on your body.
But it's actually way more fun. Like if I had to run easy runs 5 days a week,
Yeah.
I would not keep running. Like the workout actually, I thought broke up the week and made it so much more fun.
Okay. So that's good. And that's encouraging for
Yeah.
people.
You're making it sound so horrible, but it's actually
Okay. So they shouldn't be scared.
no.
Okay.
Not at all.
Yeah. So they can be enjoyable. They break up the structure.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say. All right. Long run on Saturday is an anchor point. That's a non negotiable, or on Sunday.
Okay.
Okay. I need at least one of my off days in between my workout and my long run. Okay. So the workout, well, it's going to add some enjoyment.
Mhm.
It is going to be extra stress on your body,
Fair.
extra stress on the muscles. You're more prone to being sore.
True. Super true.
Okay. And so we need that extra recovery time for our body to get better.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I need at least an off day before I come back and do long run, that means it can't be Friday. I really wouldn't want it to be Thursday.
Could you put the workout day on Tuesday? Oh, well, let's say you could run Tuesday.
Okay.
Like my schedule, that is very difficult. But if you could run Tuesday, could you put the workout on
You
Tuesday?
could absolutely put the workout on Tuesday. All right. So here, let's do that. Let's put that there. All right. And here's the thing that I like about that. All right. That's going to let us have an off day here.
We should make one for workout on Tuesday and one for workout on
We can
Wednesday.
absolutely do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's make this our off day. So here's the deal. All right. You got easy and strides on Monday. We got workout on Tuesday. We've run back-to-back days.
Mhm.
Okay. And now, hey, let's give our body a day to recover. It's going to be super important. Okay. For those of us that are running more, right, we're going to talk about how to handle the day after a workout as well. Okay. And this will even come up for 5 days a week as well. This means that we are now looking at, we have to run these other 2 days.
Yeah.
Like we have to run these other 2 days. And so this is going to be another easy in strides. And then this is going to be easy slash, and I'm actually just going to call it recovery, just plain old recovery. Easy and recovery are color coded in green because they should be easy. They shouldn't overly tax your body. Again, recovery comes with that stipulation of, hey, if you have to, slow it down, take it even slower. Okay. Ignore the watch on that day. All right. This again is another opportunity for, hey, maybe this is just that 20-minute run.
Yeah.
You just go, you kind of shake the body out, flush any lingering soreness, anything that might be sticking around in your body that you don't want anymore. Okay. Now, looking at this, right, what seems challenging about this to you?
On paper, it's pretty daunting to run 3 days in a row.
Yeah, this 3-day block in a row, right? So if you're not looking at the screen right now, we have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday where we're running back to back.
Yeah.
Okay. So, couple options here. All right. Couple options here is one, we can switch our Saturday, Sunday long run, right? So, Saturday could be off. Flop that Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm not running 3 days in a row.
Well, you're running 3 days in a row
Yeah.
at the end of your week.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to it. And that's going to be part of what's unavoidable at 5 days a week.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do it this way, right, you can flip flop the Saturday, Sunday long run and off day. Okay. Now, as Anila is pointing out here, right, at 5 days a week, if you're doing 2 weeks in a row of 5 days a week, running 3 days in a row is unavoidable.
Yeah.
All right. It's just an unfortunate math. Can't happen. Okay. So this is why I think it was good. You suggested, hey, let's put that workout on a different day. Let's find an alternate way to do this structure. You said that Monday you're going to be able to run no matter what.
Yeah.
Let's put the workout on Monday.
Okay.
Right. So if we're saying long run is super important and the workout is super important, let's schedule around those 2 days. Okay. So here I'm going to change Monday to a workout. So we have kind of our 2 anchor points of our week, our workout and our long run. If you look at this, right, if you were going to run this back to back weeks, you have long run Saturday, you're off on Sunday, and then workout on Monday.
Yeah.
Right. And so you get that recovery day in between.
Gotcha.
And like we talked about initially, we will have another off day in here before long run.
Okay.
Okay. Before long run. Now, my recommendation is going to be to put that off day on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay. And this is tricky. All right. This is tricky. And this is where you'll really kind of find out if you're ready for 5 days a week or not.
Gotcha.
Right. So you asked me the question, how do I know when I'm ready for that 5th day? And you said, hey, well, you feel really good on that back to back day.
Yeah.
And you're ready to go. Okay. It's okay if you try and add in that 5th day and you find out that you're not ready. That's okay. All right. Running has setbacks. Okay. It has times where we need to pause and take a moment and be like, yeah, I tried to move too fast. And that's okay. Mistakes happen. All right. I certainly can't say that my training and running came without its fair share of setbacks.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you would say the same.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you try it, it's okay. Go back. But we're going to add this off day on Thursday. All right. Which means Friday is going to be easy
So you
and
have
strides.
2 run days following your workout.
I do. And so here's the deal. This Tuesday workout has to be strictly recovery. We don't care about the pace.
Yeah.
It's time on feet. This is a good opportunity for, hey, this is just that 20-minute run. Here's the deal. By the time you're ready to run 5 days a week, a 20-minute jog, or even a 25-minute jog or a 30-minute jog, depending on how much volume you're doing, should feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you eventually got to that point where you're like, hey, it doesn't really matter what else was going on. I could go out and run for
And run for
25
20
minutes.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And so that's something that will come as you add in these layers of consistency is your benchmark for what you feel like you can do no matter what will slowly elevate, right? Which is another good
Right.
indicator of fitness and progress,
Yeah, totally.
right?
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Right. And so, like, you talk about, hey, when I was training, I felt like no matter what, I could go out and get 25-minute run,
Yeah.
maybe even a 30-minute run.
Whereas once upon a time, that was, like, kind of a push. That was my long run.
Right.
Yeah.
For some of you higher level runners, right, when you first get introduced to running higher mileage, if you're running like 40-ish miles a week, all of a sudden your easy recovery day is a 6 mile day, right? Or I had a recent stretch where I was doing a whole bunch of 60-mile weeks, and all of a sudden, hey, my easy day, my like calm day is an 8 mile day. And that's just the reality of it. But it's actually a good measure of, hey, yeah, it's a recovery day. I ran a hard workout yesterday, but I'm still going to go out and get my 8 miles in, right? Or I had a workout yesterday. I'm still going to go out and get my 20, 25, 30 minutes in. And so this recovery day, it's like a moving off day,
Mm.
right? And so it's not a complete rest, but in terms of the stress that it's going to put on your system, it's not going to put stress on your
Yeah.
system, right? It's still going to allow you to recover. And in some ways, it's going to help kind of boost and speed along that recovery.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that leaves us this Wednesday as our easy slash recovery plus strides. Okay. Here's the thing about this day. All right. This is the third day in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. If your body is telling you that this needs to be another recovery day, make it another recovery day. Okay. Long run and workout are your two most important runs. Okay. If your body is saying, hey, I need a little bit more time, take this as a recovery day rather than just a straight up easy day in strides.
Is the difference between easy and recovery here the presence of strides, the time spent running? Like, what is the actual practical difference between easy and recovery?
Yeah. I would say, it's kind of counterintuitive with the terminology. I would say recovery is more of I'm just out here to get it done. Um, I'm here to kind of flush out anything that's in my body, and I'm okay with going slower. I make more allowances to the pace that I'm gonna try and run. Easy day, a little bit faster than something that's purely recovery.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
So easy kind of has like a pace associated with it. I would say easy runs, even though they're labeled as easy in general,
You're still,
there's
like, working
you
like
shouldn't be working too hard,
yeah.
but there's kind of like a minimum threshold to it.
Gotcha.
Versus recovery, to me, if your body needs the extra rest and the extra slowdown, take it.
Yeah.
Right. So right now you said your easy day you feel like would probably be around 10 because you haven't been training as much.
Yeah, and if I was, doing a recovery day, it might be 10:30,
Yeah. Right. And that's okay. Right. Again,
or I really just run and I don't look at the watch.
exactly. Recovery day can be an ignore the watch day.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's a good one. And it's one of those things that distinction is very clear to me, but saying it out loud is probably really important.
Well, and I think when you're, like, first starting out running and you don't know what easy is for you or
Yeah.
what recovery is for you, it just becomes, like, run
Yeah.
for 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and eventually you kinda start to get a feel for, like, what your pace
Yeah.
where it lands.
Yeah. Well, and like honestly, a recovery day might be, hey, for some of our beginner runners, all right, I have 25 minutes of recovery. I've run for 10 minutes. I might walk for 5 minutes and then run for 10 more minutes. And so recovery, you can give yourself a little more leeway, a little more allowances to slow down, decrease the effort, really just kind of be out there moving
Yeah.
to help your body. So I promised you a schedule with a Wednesday workout day.
Yeah.
Okay. This one I think is going to get tricky. Okay. And I think you'll see why this gets tricky. And this is going to be a little more difficult, but let's see if we can make it work. So we have Wednesday as our workout day. Now, here's the thing that I really like about the Wednesday workout. If we get to a point where we can handle this, why this might even be the best of the three,
Oh,
but I think it's the most challenging. All right. Is this is kind of as much spacing apart as I can get between my long run and my workout.
got it.
All right. And so again, we talked about long run and the workout being the two most important. Those are kind of the anchors to our week, spreading them out and getting them as far away from each other as we can. Okay. Now, here's the deal. I need that off day between Wednesday and Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
If it's not on Thursday, then all of a sudden I have to run 4 days in a row. All right. So this almost forces our Thursday to be an off day.
Okay.
All right. Which means Friday is going to be easy plus strides before our long run. I'm going to suggest easy and strides on Tuesday and then recovery on Monday. Okay. And this can even maybe be, let's do easy / recovery, right? What does your body need?
Gotcha.
What does your body need on that Monday? Okay. Let's talk through this a little bit because this looks a lot more daunting to me than the other two in terms of if you're trying to do 5 days and be relatively new to 5 days. So let's look at Tuesday. Tuesday I have is easy plus strides before the Wednesday workout. Okay. I like having the strides on the Tuesday to kind of help prime your body for the Wednesday workout.
That makes sense.
All right. And so that's something that's really helpful. And actually, if you look at some of this first 5 day plan where we are working out on Tuesday, we have easy and strides on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the one thing I don't love about the workout on Monday is it's after an off day. Sometimes I feel a little disruption to my rhythm, but I think it's still manageable. It's still doable. Just got to warm up well. So I like to have strides the day before a workout. That's something I like about this plan of the workout on Wednesday. All right. We talked about why the off day is on Thursday. Here, right? Easy plus strides. We need that second day of strides. Strides, I'm going to put maybe a question mark next to this, right? If I did 2 days of strides earlier in the week, I maybe don't need it. Okay. And I'm also going to put strides question mark on that one on the Monday. Okay. Strides optional on Monday, strides optional on Friday. Okay. I would suggest doing at least one of them. Okay.
So 2 a week?
2 a week. Don't have to do both. If you really need to, you can make it optional on both, but I wouldn't make a habit out of doing it optional on both. Okay. Sometimes your body might tell you, hey, we need to do one less day of strides or 2 less days of strides. Okay. But in general, I would try and get it on either the Monday or the Friday here. Okay. What do you think of this?
I actually think this schedule is better than the Monday workout schedule where you go from long run to an off day to a workout. That to me would be really hard.
Yeah.
Cause like I might, especially like in the early days, I might still be sore on day 2
Yeah.
from a long run or like tired on day 2 from a long run. And so then to turn that into a workout day,
2 days later.
that would be hard.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. So long run, and again, this is going to come in the types of runs episode, but long run and workout both count as quote a quality day,
Yeah.
right? Where we're putting our body under a lot more stress. And so, yeah, having those 2 days apart can get tricky, right? But as we move into the 6 day a week schedule here, right, we're going to see that, hey, maybe we don't have as much of a choice as we think on those.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, by the time you're in 6 days a week, though, you're pretty legit.
Yeah. Yeah. And like,
Casual average runner like me is not going to be running 6 days a week.
well, and kind of, and I think this is why it's really helpful to have you on because, you are viewing recovery and easy differently than someone that's running 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it's really good to have that perspective. But I agree with you. I think this workout on Wednesday is better. Okay. However, it will be the third day in a row.
Yeah.
Which can be tough, which can be tricky. Okay. But hopefully, right, if we're doing our easy and recovery at an appropriate effort, we're not taxing our bodies. Okay. And we're not feeling tired from these runs. And so we're ready to run a good workout on Wednesday.
All this to say there are a lot of options.
Yes.
So it really just comes down to like, what are you actually going to do? like when you're
Yeah.
new to running and you're starting at 3 to 4 days a week, and then with the hope of getting to 5 days a week, they're all gonna be hard in some way. So it's really just what are you actually going to get up and do?
I really like that. Which are you actually going to be able to accomplish? Because at the end of the day, again, the overarching principle of good quality training is consistency.
Yeah.
So which schedule are you going to be able to follow?
And you have to set yourself up for success because it's
Mhm.
not realistic to go, I'm going to, just go from 0 to 4 days a week or 0 to 5 days a week. You have to get into the routine and build it slowly, or it's gonna suck so hard you're not gonna wanna do it.
Now on to 6 days a week. This is where we really get into it. This is where that day to day is really important. That recovery from day to day is really important. We don't get just entire days to recover as often. And so on the screen, I have kind of four options of ways that you could do your 6 days a week running schedule with long run on Saturday. All right. Still keeping long run on Saturday. I think that almost becomes even more important at 6 days a week
Mm.
than long run on Sunday because long run on Sunday, I think things can get a little wonky. It can work, but it's not my preference. So these first two have one workout a week, okay, where you have one workout, one long run, and then you have easy and recovery runs sprinkled in throughout. You'll see that you have strides, two, maybe even three of the days. Okay. If you're only doing one workout, you can kind of afford that extra day of strides, and I would actually suggest it. Versus if we look at my third and fourth option here, you'll notice, hey, I really only have 1 day of strides and the two workouts in the long run. Okay. So when we add in that second workout, strides become less important. Okay. Strides become less important because we're doing more fast training. Okay. We don't need to rely on strides at the end of our run to maintain our speed, maintain kind of our form and discipline and kind of that central nervous system to muscle connection. We don't need that as much. And so if we add in that second workout, the thing to make sure is that you have a recovery day in between those.
Mm.
Okay. Don't want to do workouts on back to back days. Those of you that are extra advanced that do have that, you know that that comes with some caveats. You know that when you're doing workouts on back to back days, there are rules and structures and systems in place on those to make sure that you're not overwhelming your body and you're not damaging your muscles too much, which is a fascinating conversation, but one that we're going to save for later. In general, put a recovery day in between your workouts. All right.
So who is this for? Is this for, like, the high school athlete, the college athlete, the competitive
Yeah.
adult runner?
I would say this is for everybody, but like professional, true professional, and elite level college.
Okay.
I talked last week, I got to look at some training plans from some college coaches and some college athletes. Depending on the level, all right, you might get some back to back workout days. Okay. And that's either going to be from one of two things. That's going to be one, a coach that is being overly ambitious
Mm.
and working their athletes too hard, or a coach that is super involved, super ingrained in the science. And you're going to be doing things like blood lactate testing and all of the recovery things to get your body ready to handle that and to make sure that on a given day you don't push beyond what you're going to be able to do to come back and run a workout the next day.
That's intense.
And so to run back-to-back workout days takes a much different level of coaching than almost any of us are really going to have access to.
Got it.
Okay. So in general, we want a recovery day in between our workouts. Okay. You'll notice that I have the workouts on Tuesday, Thursday. You could also do the workouts on Monday, Wednesday. Okay. Which would then give you kind of 2 days of easy recovery running before your long run. That also works really nicely. Again, for me, I don't like having that off day lead into a workout, which is why I have this here. This would be my preference. The other thing, and I would say this is most applicable to our high school athletes, this 6 day week schedule, and our competitive adults, but not approaching that professional level, is This will also help you keep your workouts under control and not overrun your workouts.
Mm.
If you had 2 days in between a workout and a long run, sometimes we can kind of push that a little bit. All right, we can kind of go a little bit harder than the intention of the session
On the workout
on
day?
the workout day. All right. And so this is the structure that I like. Okay. Now, that's not to say that there wouldn't be times if I was working with an athlete where I would do Monday, Wednesday intentionally. Right. So, for example, you high school runners, if you are working out Monday, Wednesday, that might be because you have a race on Saturday
Mm.
and you want the 2 days to recover and be a little more well rested. But again, and this will come up in the different types of runs and different types of workouts. Like, what is the intention of that day? What are you aiming for? Big thing to point out here, recovery day in between the workouts. Okay. Have to give your body time to repair. And this is also, that, hey, my easy day, right? In my strides, if I'm doing 6 miles or whatever, or 45 minutes or 50 minutes, right? Or a 60-minute recovery day, that you have to keep that under control because that that larger effort is coming in a workout later on. Okay. We talked about 6 days a week. You might have seen a tab for 6 to 7 days a week. I'm not going to go through. Here's the one thing I will say about that. If you're going to run 7 days a week, that means that every other or every third week, you should be taking a day off. So you should either be running 13 out of 14 days or 20 out of 21 days. If you start to put too many of those days in a row, you add to that injury risk.
Mm.
Okay. It's important to have that day off, give your body a chance to recover. You'll see people that run for incredible streaks of time, people that do those things, especially if you are training for something specific and you're really going after a race goal and a result. I would make sure that you have a complete off day every so often, whether that's once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks. Honestly, you can still get a lot of value and train at a really high level, only running 6 days a week and maintaining an off day every week. Okay. Now, I'm not going to deny having that extra day every 14 days, running 13 out of 14, or the extra 2 days every 3 weeks. It can make a difference. All right. But you have to do it carefully. You have to do it cautiously. And this is why it's important, especially if you're pushing those upper boundaries, right? Or even if you're getting into a level that is new to you, to have a coach.
Mm.
All right. Someone that can kind of keep the whole picture in mind, someone that is a little bit of an outside perspective. They're a little bit removed from kind of the personal feelings of the training and the results. They can balance the work and the recovery to make sure that you're making solid, consistent progress. Okay. And so, especially if you're starting to push into unfamiliar territory, I would really look into finding and reaching out to a coach. And that's actually going to bring us into Coach's Corner, where we're going to look at a plan. And so you can see it on the screen. It's nice and colorful. It's fantastic. And so let me give you a little bit of background. This is for someone that is doing their summer training for high school cross country. Previously, before this, they have run a maximum of about 45 to 50 miles a week, but have some injury history. And so I'm going to run through this pretty quick, but it looks like all the way over to the right, it has the mileage total for the week. So it looks like whoever made this plan has them capping out at about 40 miles. We can see a stretch here where they run 38, 40, 40, take a little bit of a down week at 30, and then back up to 40. So it looks like the goal is to kind of be comfortable at around 40 miles a week. And then it's a mix of 5 to 6 days a week. It's a pretty negotiable non-run day on Sunday, which I like. I think that makes sense. And then the first thing that I want to point out is the first month of this only has one workout, which I think is really great. We're looking at summer training for high school. You need to build your base, you need to build your consistency. And so I think that is really important. And so having this first month, these first 4 weeks where there's only one workout, I think is really great. It's really important. And so I really like that. Then we start to get into we do one workout a week for a couple weeks, then it's two, and then that down week is only one workout. And so I think this is a good balance. So this is a 6-day a week plan. I know you didn't make it up to 6 days a week.
No.
You mostly stayed in that 4 to 5. Are there any things that kind of stand out to you as like, well, that still kind of looks like the same structure that I had?
Yeah, so still strides, uh, like 1 workout a week. I think maybe occasionally I do 2, but probably pretty rarely.
Okay. I actually really like this. Looks pretty similar to some of the mock weeks that we just
Yeah,
drew up, where, all right, we have our consistent long run, right? That's kind of an anchor point, and then we're spreading the workouts in between. We're spreading kind of those easy days in between. We're putting strides in there. We're building up slowly,
yeah,
right? It's consistency. And so I think this is great. Maybe I would for July, where I get to this like July 21st week when we start doing 2 workouts a week. These could be some pretty intense weeks. And so maybe taking a little bit of a chill in here, right? Instead of having 3 weeks in a row with 2 workouts, I might put a week of just 1 workout in there, would be an adjustment I might make. But it's a good gradual build, really emphasizing that consistency, really emphasizing the recovery between workout days.
yeah,
I think this plan could use maybe more of like a zoomed out week to week perspective of, right here in the middle, we have hard week, hard week, hard week with 2 workouts and a long run. I think you could maybe use a lighter week in there. But in general, I think there's a lot of great things here. As a reminder, if you want your plan briefly talked about, send it in. There will be an email in the episode description that you can send a training plan to. If you have questions about anything that we've talked about, put it in the comments, right? Again, I really appreciate those of you that texted me individually, but put it in the comments so that other people can see it. Other people might be able to talk about it and chime in. Until then, happy running, stay consistent, and enjoy.